Welcome back. We have Steve Mallette, owner of New England Medical Insurance Agency, here with us.
Hey Joe, how are you?
Good.
Sarah, great to see you.
Great to see you too, Steve.
You're looking great, Steve.
Thank you, buddy. Yeah, it's been a long battle. I've, worked at keeping my weight off and first taking my weight down.
Yeah.
And, I did it pretty much, I didn't have any health scare or anything like that. A lot of times when guys get to be my age, they'll have a health scare, or they'll go to the doctor and they'll say, you're diabetic, lose X
Looking at
amount
my
of pounds.
father wasn't helped you?
Nah, it did help me. And also, in my business, in the insurance business, a lot of my friends, colleagues, people of my age, I look at them and from maybe an insurance perspective and found out, wow, there's a lot of them with a lot of health problems out there that you wouldn't know by looking at them, but they have those health problems. And and I was a guy that was, say, 60 years old. I was 260 something pounds, even though, I probably carried it pretty well, but I had gotten up that high. I was pre-diabetic. My cholesterol was up. My blood pressure was going up. I was sort of that time bomb waiting to happen. So I did a lot of things. I quit all alcohol drinking back almost 2 years ago. And everybody said to me, oh, you're going to lose all this weight if you stop alcohol. That didn't happen. You just eat more stuff. When everybody's out having a drink, you're having the more appetizers. And it wasn't something that I was planning to do. I had a little stomach infection, and I got on an antibiotic that I couldn't drink on. And I stopped for a couple of weeks, and at the end of the 2 weeks, I felt better. Yeah. So I said, I'm just going to keep this up for a while, and it's ended up to be 2 years. I mean, I said I'm never going to drink again, but just for right now, I'm not drinking, and that helped. And then 6 months later, when I had maybe lost 10 pounds working hard, I got on a diet, and I stuck to it. And then I think any diet works, almost any diet.
Stick to it.
If you stick to it and you really can do it, it works. And for me, I lost 85 pounds.
Yeah, it's crazy. And the thing is, you were always an active guy. It wasn't like you weren't out there playing tennis,
and I still don't
golf.
exercise. It isn't that I shouldn't. I probably should. But things I'm doing now that I never did before or couldn't do before. I walk 18 holes of golf and carry my bag.
Yep.
Not push a cart. I'm actually carry the bag. Yesterday I played at the country club in Brookline. Probably one of the most famous and great, one of the best.
Is that the one that Tom Brady's a member?
We saw Tom. Tom is not a member.
Oh, he's not?
No.
Oh, he
So, but we did see Tom's new house. It is on the course. I think, Tom didn't join for his own reasons, and I don't know that really the country club wanted him as a member. Because
it's the zoo that comes along with it.
It's everything that comes along with it. It's the people climbing over the fence trying to watch Tom Brady play golf. Yeah. It's that kind of thing. And he understands that too. He understands he can't walk downtown. But to do that, for me to be able to do that, to see that by losing the weight, my pre-diabetes all went away. My cholesterol followed my weight 100%. Where when I was 260, my cholesterol was 260ish. Now at 185, my cholesterol's 185. Yeah. No more blood pressure problems. Actually, I took it the other night because I do every once in a while. It's a 1/6/64. Yeah. And I'm on no medication.
Wow.
So it works.
Yeah. And I mean, you're in the insurance field, so I mean, tell me, you've got rising deductibles, right? I mean, for people that are out there, staying healthy probably more now is probably beneficial than ever because of probably those reasons.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and the whole cost shifting, the deductibles going up and all that. I mean, that's just cost shifting from one place to another, whether it's the employer to the, employee or what it happens to be. I represent 200 employers here in the Merrimack Valley and Southern New Hampshire area with about 10,000 employees. And for the most part, when I travel around the United States and I'm on some national insurance companies' boards and talk with my colleagues in other parts of the world, other parts of the United States, we still have it fantastic here. I mean, the quality of health care, the deductibles that aren't $3,000, $4,000, and $5,000. I mean, not many people know, but in Massachusetts, our deductibles as Massachusetts residents are capped at $2,000. If you have a plan that's over $2,000, you either have to have an HSA that you can fund yourself on a pre-tax basis, or if it's an employer plan, he or she has to fund a health reimbursement form if you're over that 2,000 to bring you back to 2,000. Where in other parts of the country, it's $5,000. You know, when the healthcare reform came in, everybody, you know, they wanted to talk, when I was out there, they wanted to talk to me because we had Romney Care since 2007. And all the things the Affordable Care Act were going to put in, we basically already had here in Massachusetts. So we didn't see this huge increase in our health insurance rates. We had been nickeled and dimed all over the years every year. But some of these places were seeing 50, 60, 70% rate increases. They didn't have preventive care. They didn't have maternity as mandatory. People could get turned down. There wasn't, I mean, people, if you didn't have the right health, they just wouldn't insure you. Where in Massachusetts, that's been gone for 15 years. So, you know, there's a lot of different, you know, facets that keeping healthy doesn't hurt, let's put it that way.
Right.
I mean, you will eventually, you know, you should have lower costs. But even today with, you know, just keeping up with the preventative things, you know, under the Affordable Care Act, preventative is now covered at 100%. Well, that's their set of tests. But if you're an average gentleman like I am, I went into my doctor, I told him my family history. He said, okay, I'm gonna do some routine tests for you. I walk away with a $500 bill, and like, wait a minute, this is routine, and Affordable Care Act says it has to be covered at 100%. And when you go, you find out, well, the routine test that the Affordable Care Act says is routine, and the ones you really need that your doctor thinks you need because of information you may give him on your family history and things, and he wants to get a baseline for you, those cost money. There's diagnostic codes with that, then you're gonna be charged accordingly.
Wow.
When we do employee meetings, we caution people big time about routine tests from the employer, from the doctor. They might not be routine under the Affordable Care Act.
So you got to really watch all that stuff.
Well, you know, it's a type of thing for years when everything was paid for 100%, and you went and you paid $5 and you had your doctor's visit, and you went for the prescription and it was $3. Nobody really cared, okay? But now when you do have a $2,000 deductible, you know, you got to ask questions, or you're going to get hit with that money, and there's no way around it once it's done.
And you don't know what you're going to be hit with.
Oh,
you know?
absolutely.
Because you don't know what the cost, you know, things are so expensive nowadays.
Yeah. I mean, you know, to get and there is the whole consumer-driven healthcare that supposedly came in back around 2010, where you could shop for what you have. There's no shopping out there.
No.
There's no shopping for drugs. There's no shopping for, basically for anything. The only time you'd shop is if you had to pay cash. And most people that have to pay cash don't get it done. It's that simple. They wait and go to the emergency room when they have to.
Unless they're with us.
Yes, they're in Massachusetts.
Or they're with plastic surgery, yeah.
Right. I mean, you know, there's very little in plastic surgery that's covered by insurance.
Absolutely, and it's getting harder and harder to cover.
Oh yeah.
You know.
I mean, basically, you have to be repairing something that was an accident or something like that. The insurance, but if it's anything that could be considered elective, even if it's something that's going to better your health down the road, they still won't. I mean, gastric bypass used to be like. Now it's huge. You have to do 18 other things. You have to do, you know, try the diets, try this, try that, which maybe isn't a bad thing, but, you know, it's just harder and harder to get paid. I never, you know, I would have never thought, to be honest with you, of having gastric bypass surgery. I just wouldn't do it. I'd stay heavy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it depends on the patient. It really does.
Yeah.
We only have a couple more minutes. I know you've been doing a lot of like charitable type work. Just wanted to talk to you a little bit about that.
Well, yeah, I do a lot. I like it. It's great. I love the idea of giving back. I think my parents instilled that in me, which I know your parents have instilled. Even this for you is giving back. But your parents instilled that in you. My parents did to me, and I hope we're instilling that in our children. I'm on the board of directors of Merrimack Valley Food Bank. We just finished our charity golf tournament, which was at Indian Ridge a week ago. I was one of the co-chairs with Steve Jones from Jeanne d'Arc. We were co-chairs. We raised $105,000.
Wow.
Okay, that netted about $75,000, $78,000 for the food bank. And you know, people ask me all the time, you know, I see you on the food bank board and this bag. Well, why are you on the food bank? What's the big deal there? You know, you look like, especially when it's heavy, you look like you eat okay. Yeah, I do. I did eat okay. But you know, when you raise money for the food bank, the way I look at it is somebody tonight is going to eat that didn't eat.
Exactly.
That wasn't going to eat. or didn't have that good nutrition, they're going to have better nutrition. They're going to eat tonight. And that's a huge, huge thing. And because I'm entrenched in the board of directors and things like that, I know where every dollar goes, and I know how much goes to administration, which is barely nothing, especially when you do a golf tournament. That's all money that goes directly to services. People have to remember a food bank, like the Merrimack Valley Food Bank, we distribute food. We get food in from different government programs and different sources, and we're the central place. Then we distribute to all the food pantries, the soup kitchens, some of the churches that do good work and like that. We basically go from about Leominster to the seacoast up into southern New Hampshire.
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah,
there's
that was
140 agencies that we distribute to. And one of the things, in June of this year, we distributed to over 80,000 people.
Wow.
In 1 month. In 1 month. And we do about $3.5 to $4 million worth of food a year distribute here. And that's right here in the Merrimack Valley. That's at home. So it's, it really is a good thing. I also work with the Boys and Girls Club. I love that too. I mean, I was a product of the Boys and Girls Club, not here in Lowell. In Arlington, happened to be Arlington. But I remember my mother was on that board. I'm on the board now. 50 years later, I'm on the board of the Lowell, and that's another great organization.
My whole life, I've known you.
You have.
You've always been volunteering. It's not,
I have,
it's not like it
it's
just
like-
started, but
No, it hasn't. And I've always
you
whether it was
built a
the
ramp for a
church.
handicapped guy.
Yeah.
I mean,
In the
that-
freezing cold. That was a cold day. That was a below zero day. My fingers still are cold from that.
I'll never forget. Even St. Mary's, he was helping build sets for
Oh, yeah.
For plays,
but
or, yeah.
we've run out of time, my friend. We appreciate
Always
you
a
coming
pleasure.
on.
Yeah, great to see you again. Thank you.